All right. So welcome everybody. Thank you for showing up. 50% of your success is showing up at the right place at the right time. And the other 50% is enthusiasm. So, we were asked to speak about Harinam Sankirtan, especially how to increase it, how to make it happen. And we'll have two workshops, one today, one on Saturday, correct? Friday. So, Veda Narayana Sakshat Swayambhuriti Shurushruma, the Vedas, the Vedic wisdom, it emanates from Krishna, Lord Narayan personally. Tene Brahma Hridayadi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsuraya, Tejo Varimridang Yada, etc. So Krishna spoke this knowledge to Brahma. And in the Chatushloki, the four original verses of the Bhagavatam, very concise, nutshell form. And he also spoke the knowledge to who else? Krishna spoke it to Arjuna, Krishna spoke it to Uddhava, he spoke it to different people. So, all the Vedic wisdom emanates from Krishna. Krishna is the source of the Vedic wisdom. Then, in our line of the Brahma Madhava Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, we had several great acharyas, Ramanujacharya, Madhavacharya, great scholars, great commentators on the Bhagavatam, on the Vedas, who have extracted the essence and presented it in a way that was very much relatable for the modern man. Then Lord Chaitanya appeared and he embodied, he exemplified the Vedic wisdom, the Vedic teachings in his own lives. There's too much troop movement. Can you just settle in? Thank you. And by his own life, he showed, that's why in the beginning of the Bhagavatam, you have the synopsis of Lord Chaitanya's life, because he's the embodiment of the teachings of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Then, Lord Chaitanya said, Bharata bhumi te hoila manushya janma jar, janma sartaka karikara para upakar. That every person who is born in Bharat, Bharat was not just India, but that whole region, or people who come from that culture, from the Vedic culture, they should take this wisdom and share it with the world. I guess that's the reason why we're all here, right? That's why we came to Guyana. Then it's a good reason. And he said many other things, Prithivityachatta nagaradigram sarvatrat prachara hoibe moranam. That wherever you go, whoever you meet, tell them about the holy name of Krishna. And in this way, you will become an instrument of Krishna's mercy, of Krishna's compassion. So what is Lord Chaitanya's mission in a nutshell? Chant Hare Krishna and share Hare Krishna. What is it? Number one? Chant Hare Krishna. Number two, share Hare Krishna. One, two, one, two, one. Okay, you get it. You got it down. That's how you remember things, you know? Because Kali Yuga brain, there's just not that much capacity there. You know, we have like a 2 RAM chip, you know? It doesn't move so fast. And he instructed, Lord Chaitanya had 5 great discourses. What are the 5 great discourses of Lord Chaitanya? This will come up in the test, okay?
Ramananda Roy.
Okay, Ramananda Roy is one. Everybody say one. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. What else? Sanatana Goswami. Who else have we got? Come on, work with me, people. Work with me, people. Who else is there?
Rupa Goswami.
Rupa Goswami. Okay, we're missing one. We got Ramananda Roy, we got Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, we got Rupa and Sanatan.
Swarup Damodar?
Nope.
No.
Prakashananda Saraswati, yes. I could have given you the hint, teaching of Lord Chaitanya. That's what the whole book is about, these 5 discourses. And he empowered his followers, especially the 6 Goswamis, to research the Vedic literatures and to extract all the essence that's related to bhakti, to devotional service, and write their commentary, write their books, so that people of the modern age can actually understand it and relate to it. Then later on, we had Baladev Vidabhushan, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, great commenters on the Srimad Bhagavatam, on the Vedic wisdom. We remember that those books of the Goswamis, they got lost, and then later on they were rediscovered. It's a whole big thing. And then we have Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who in the year 1896, the birth year of Srila Prabhupada, he sent his book, Lord Chaitanya, his life and precepts. He sent it to universities across the world. One copy to McGill University in Canada, Montreal. And he also sent his books to great writers like, I believe it was either Thoreau or Emerson who got a copy. So he very much wanted to connect with the intelligentsia, with the educated people of the world, to communicate the message of Krishna consciousness. Then, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he had 4 printing presses in his main temples. And these were old printing presses. You remember typeset, lead typeset? Huh? Chicka chicka chunk, chicka chicka chunk, chicka chicka chunk, chicka chicka chunk. My grandfather, he was a lead typist. Who would assemble these pages. He worked in a publishing house. So, and he had them right opposite the deities in the temple. And he said, this is Kirtan. This should go on all day and all night. He had very revolutionary attitude in regards to spreading Krishna consciousness. Just like when he's building one of his temples, the laborers, the bricklayers, the workers, they used to always take a break in order to roll bidis. You know bidi? You heard of bidi? It's that little leaf, that people are smoking, addicted to. So he was not happy with that. He said that they're wasting too much time. So I believe back in his days, you couldn't just buy those things. You had to roll them yourself. So he said, okay, I will roll the bidis and you keep on working. Huh? Can you imagine? Sannyasi, the Acharya of the Mat, he's rolling bidis so that the construction does not stop. He had periodicals in different languages, English, Hindi, Bengali, Oriya, I believe also. He had a daily newspaper, Nadia Prakash. And you know what it was? The front page was all common news, politics, gossip, whatever was going on in the world, just copied from other newspapers and thrown together, khichdi, on the first page. And then you turn it, and then it's Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. So what is it? It's a scam. It's a ruse. It's just a trick to get people to buy that and then get them to hear Harikatha. He had theistic exhibitions where outside there was people who were doing drama and dancing and juggling and magicians, and people were thinking, wow, this is an amusement park. This is a nice event. There will be food and music and all kind of entertainment. So then they entered, and inside there were dioramas of the Lord's pastimes. He spent exorbitant amounts of money in those days into building those dolls, those different dioramas, to depict Krishna Leela, Ram Leela, Mahaprabhu's Leela. And as people went closer inside, there was Hari Kirtan and Hari Katha right in the center. So he had already this funnel, where you start in a wide periphery, try to attract everybody, and then you bring them into the essence. Very much in line with Rupa Goswami's tenets of Prapanchikataya Buddhya Hari Sambandhi Vastuna, Mukshurbi Farityago Vairagyam Falgu Katyate. That the true renunciation is not giving up everything, but utilizing everything in Krishna's service. And then his foremost disciple, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who was instructed on the first meeting to spread Krishna consciousness in the English language. And Srila Prabhupada translated the Gita, translated the Bhagavatam, the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and single-handedly published many books. Now you don't know what it means to translate. Prabhupada got up every night at midnight. Have you ever gotten up at midnight? Only if you need to pick somebody up at the airport, right? Otherwise, no. Prabhupada got up at midnight without an alarm clock. And for 2-3 hours, he would translate 6 pages every night. Consulting the various commentaries of the Acharyas and combining the quintessence of their wisdom in his Bhaktivedanta purports. Do you like honey? Maduram, maduram, madhuradipate, maduram, maduram. Why do you like honey? Well, sweet. So many things are sweet. Rasgulla is sweet, gulab jamun is sweet, jalebi is sweet, rabri is sweet. Why do you like honey? What's so special about honey?
I like the texture.
Texture. It's a bit gooey and a bit sticky, right? Glue is also like that. So what's so special about honey? Come on, this is the sign, audience participation, okay? That's where you come into play.
The way the bees collect and it's
Huh?
how it's made. I think it's relished because of how it's made. It's very.
I've got another suggestion because it's the essence of everything.
The essence of everything?
And everything topmost, like flowers and you extract the essence.
It's all the good stuff in one place. Not of everything, because there's a lot of everything that we don't want to have in there. It is the quintessence of all the nectar of every flower, fruit, and tree that's out there. That is honey. That's why it's so relishable. So that's what Prabhupada did. That's what our Acharyas did. That's what the 6 Goswamis did. They got the essence of all the scriptures and they combined it, they distilled it into their commentaries. And that's what we have today. So Srila Prabhupada undertook this momentous task to translate the Bhagavatam. And that was his life's mission. That was his life's mission. Yet it took him 8 years to publish 3 books of the first canto. And he saw that I cannot complete my task. So what do you do when you see that the work is too big and you can't possibly do it? What do you do in such a situation? You go and sleep it off in the park? What do you do? You tell your boss, oh, it wasn't possible, you know, you gave me an impossible task. Huh?
Hand it over to someone who's capable.
Hand it over to somebody capable. How are you going to do that?
Training them.
Training them, whom them? Them people on the streets or them people on the marketplace? Or?
Confidential disciples.
Okay, this is the mission. Last time, Prabhupada Dev Prabhu was asking me, what is your purpose? Why are you here? Okay, since you want to know, I'm going to tell you. Okay, but don't tell anybody, all right? Because it's meant to be a secret. To recruit, to train, and to empower spiritual revolutionaries. Recruit, train, and empower spiritual revolutionaries. That was Prabhupada's mission. That is our mission. The mission hasn't changed. I haven't come here with a new ideology to tell you, you know, okay, you got to buy this t-shirt and sign up for the self-help course, you know. And then I can teach you a few magical tricks, how you can become a popular guy out there, you know. No. The mission is still the same. Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtan. How to communicate the message in an attractive, relevant, and impactful way. That's what we're here to learn from our Acharyas. And Srila Prabhupada has done it himself. Do you want to know how Srila Prabhupada distributed books? He went to Slippery Rocks College in Pennsylvania. Which town?
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, where? Pennsylvania is a state.
In the US.
Yes. Where did Sally and Gopal Agarwal live? It's a quiz question now.
Butler.
Butler, Pennsylvania, same place where the former president was almost killed a few days ago. Huh? Sally was very, very enthusiastic to organize programs for Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. Jai Jagannath. Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. So, she organized programs for him in all different venues, and one was at a university, and there was a Professor Larson. And Prabhupada came, he had his 3 books, first canto in 3 parts. And he told the professor, I have brought these books all the way from India for my special friends. Would you like to have a set? What do you think the professor answered? What do you think? Of course, if someone offers you unconditional friendship, if you're somewhat of a decent guy, you accept it. You accept it. So he gladly, he accepted that offer and he bought the books. When Prabhupada was living later on in New York, he placed the books on consignment in different bookstores. You know consignment? They don't pay you immediately. You have to go back and collect. Very tedious method. So every 15 days, Prabhupada will go to every bookstore, every bookseller, and he would check the inventory, he would get paid, and he would restock books. He would do that himself. So one lady, she asked him, do you come from India? Prabhupada said, yes. She said, I love Indian food. Prabhupada said, what do you like? She said, I like samosa. So next time Prabhupada came, he brought her samosa. Prasad. Why? Because she's his Sankirtan devotee. She's distributing his books. Prabhupada was living for over a year just by selling his books. Now, that was very difficult. If you read his diary, he oftentimes did not take the bus to save the money, the bus fare, and he walked. Prabhupada wrote down 25 cents for banana, 15 cents for stick of butter, 50 cents for this. He would keep track of every single expenditure and everything that came in. Prabhupada was very meticulous. He was in his previous profession, he was a pharmacist. You know pharmacists? The ones who make medicine? They're very precise, they're very exact, they're very precise people, because if they're not, their customers die. And it's bad business if your clients die. So Prabhupada was very conscientious how he presented Krishna consciousness in a way that it was actually beneficial for us. And then Srila Prabhupada, he recruited, he trained, and he empowered a whole army of people who initially didn't seem very likable candidates for this task. One time somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, what is a hippie? And Srila Prabhupada said, something extraordinary. Something extraordinary. Now the people who walked through the door, they were of all different types. Those were the hippie era. People were on LSD, they took ecstasy, opioids, marijuana. It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll. Everybody was somehow compromised. But Srila Prabhupada treated every person who walked through the door as a future leader of the Hare Krishna movement. And guess what happened? They became the future leaders of the Hare Krishna movement. Why? Because Prabhupada chose to see the potential in them. Is there some water, possibly? Prabhupada chose to see the potential in them rather than to see the deficiency. Of course he saw the deficiency. It was obvious. But Prabhupada saw the potential. He saw the good. And in the mood of Lord Nityananda, he fanned that spark of goodness, that spark of interest. And that's what he was concerned about, not about the lacking, the shortcoming. So, Srila Prabhupada once mentioned that I want to spread Krishna consciousness everywhere at once. Thank you. Now that is a pretty big mission. Would you agree? Spreading Krishna consciousness everywhere at once is a pretty big task, right? How are you going to do that? Huh? How are you going to do that? There's 8 billion people on the planet. How are you going to reach them? You know, there is a saying, if you have 1 year time, you grow rice. We just came from Essequibo. A lot of people growing rice. Huge area. It's nice to see people growing their own food. It just makes you feel like, yeah, there's still some sane people here, right? Yeah, that's what we're all supposed to be doing, right? Live off the land, be peaceful, be happy, not running around, you know, like a bunch of idiots. So, if you have 1 year time, you grow rice. If you have 10 years time, you grow coconuts. If you have 100 years time, you grow people. Now Prabhupada got up every night at midnight to translate 6 pages. Why? Because he was writing the textbooks, the law books for the next 10,000 years. Prabhupada was not thinking 1 year, 10 years, 100 years. Prabhupada was thinking 10,000 years. That was his vision. What is our vision? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Huh? Get paid at the end of the month? Go see my family in a few months? How big is my vision? Huh? There's people who work daily labor. You know daily labor? They get paid every day. But how much do they get paid? Minimum wage. If you sell peanuts or you sell something on the side of the road, you get paid. There's a lot of transaction, right? But the profit is very minimal. You can barely survive. But Prabhupada was investing because he saw that this is going to be the house in which the whole world can live. That was his vision. And there was no question of caste, color, or creed, background, education, economical status. Everyone was welcome. Prabhupada said to one temple president, make an advertisement. Everyone welcome. Come live with us. And the temple president said, but Prabhupada, what if they come? You know, like where we'll put them? Who's going to feed them? How are we going to take care of them? Prabhupada said, no, you have to also put, come live with us, come live like us. Which means get up for Mangal Arti, chant Hare Krishna, follow regulative principles. He said, don't worry, not too many will come. Only very few will come. So don't be worried about having too many people. If you're selling diamonds, how many customers will come to your store? If you're selling cucumbers, if you're selling bananas or coconuts, a lot of people will come. So, we have to have vision. We have to know, what are we doing? Where are we going? What's the goal? And the leader is someone who knows where to go, knows how to get there, and knows how to inspire others to get there. That's why we follow Srila Prabhupada, our founder Acharya, because he has shown us the path. Now, how many of you are from Rishikesh? Rishikesh, contingency, kind of, sort of, that area? Okay. So, we were up in Rishikesh. I brought every year about 12 friends up there, and we were chanting and dancing Hare Krishna. It was really fun. And, you know, we were at Lakshman Jhula, right at the landing. German bakery, you know, on the other side. Huh? So, we were chanting and doing Harinam there, and big traffic jam. Because everybody started chanting, dancing, and then jam. Nothing moved. So, no scooty can pass, no people can pass, people honking, yelling, screaming. After some time, they realize it's not going to work. So they just get off their scooty and they join the kirtan. and after a while, there's like a couple of hundred people chanting and dancing. There was one professional beggar there. You know, not sadhu, but professional beggar. You know, those who is a job for them to beg. So he was sitting there on the side of the steps, and he had his metal cup there, and he was looking a little sad, you know, like the beggars sometimes look. After about 15, 20 minutes of watching us dancing and chanting, he decided that being a beggar is not so much fun. He took his cup and he put it in his kurta pocket and he joined the kirtan. And then after a while, he started dancing around really exuberantly and swinging his arms and doing really fancy dance moves. And after a few minutes later, he reached into his kurta pocket and he pulled out a big stack of rupee notes. And he was waving it around and showing everybody. And then he started to put money into the pockets of all the devotees who were dancing there. And he's showing everybody, see, I'm not a poor man. I'm not a beggar. I'm a charitable person. I'm a generous person. So why are we going out and distributing books and accepting donations? We don't need the money. Huh? Can you say that? We don't need the money.
We don't need the money.
Do you believe in it? Huh? That should be your mantra. We don't need the money. But you need to give. So we're doing you a favor by giving you the opportunity to give something to Krishna, which will transform you. Everyone in this world is a beggar. Everyone's a beggar. Dhanam dehi, rupam dehi, upapatyam dehi, ma dehi. Everybody. Huh? Amilagbe. I need. Gimme. Huh? Isn't that the mantra? But when you inspire a person to give something to Krishna, you transform them from being a beggar to being dhani, to be a generous benefactor of humanity. And that is the greatest gift that you can give to any person. That is the greatest empowerment. Transforming beggars into charitable people. Scarcity mentality into generosity. Fear into love. That is what bhakti does. That is why we engage in Harinam Sankirtan. Then, we were also around, yoga, International Yoga Festival, Rishikesh. A lot of tourists coming. Huh? You remember? Big mela. Huh? So, there was one yoga teacher from Ukraine. I approached him, I showed him Bhagavad Gita, and he said, I'm a yoga teacher. And the way he said it, I realized if you say one more word, it's game over. You know that kind of mood? You know that situation? When you say one more word, it's game over. So you just have to zip it, you just have to. So, but he was friendly, he was smiling, he was looking at the Gita, but he didn't want to talk. So I just let him look at the book. So what do you do when you don't know what to do? Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't know what to do? No, you Guyanese, you got it all figured out, right? You have clear game plan, right? Plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. Sometimes all your plans fail, have you noticed? Whatever you had in mind, it just doesn't work. So what do you do in such a situation? Call mom? Ask Siri? Count your money? No, it's not going to work. What are you going to do in that situation? Huh? Pray to who? Grandma? Krishna! If I've ever been a good boy, if I've ever chanted your name, please take all that sukriti, all that punya, and give it to this person. Because he needs it. That is the mood of Vasudev Datta. Huh? After a few moments, the man looked up from the book. He looked at me and he said, I feel love coming from your heart. How much is the book? I could not distribute that book, but Krishna, he can distribute that book because he's in the heart of every living entity. Ishvara sarvabhutanam hrideshir junatishthati. Sometimes you can see people, you give them the book, and the mind says, no, we don't want this. Have you noticed? Why? Because it doesn't look like sense gratification. In fact, it looks quite the opposite, right? It looks like seva, it looks like surrender, it looks like sattvic lifestyle. No. We don't want this, right? But then, when Krishna sees your sincerity of purpose, he sees your prayerful mood, he sees your desperation, Krishna intervenes. And in the heart of that person, he says, take it. And the person says, no, I don't want it. And Krishna says, take it. He's good for you. Take it. And the person says, no, I don't want it. Because they're dog stubborn, they're obstinate. You know dogs when they don't want to move? And they drag them on the leash? Like that. That's us. So, Krishna says, take it. Give him the donation. All right, okay. Krishna always wins. Krishna always wins. So who is more successful? It depends. Whose ever desire is stronger. Is your desire to share Krishna consciousness stronger than their desire for sense gratification? Their desire for sense gratification is pretty strong, have you noticed? People are out there with a vengeance. Huh? Now that it's time to let the good times roll, so they're jumping head over heels. But if our desire is stronger, Krishna will intervene and he will change the course of destiny. So, Krishna has given you one of the best countries in the world. You're sitting on a gold mine. What do you do when you strike gold? Or oil or diamonds in your garden? Do you call the Chinese? Do you call the Americans? Do you call the Venezuelans and say, hey guys, come here, take it. Give me a suitcase of money and a few bags of peanuts and I'm okay, I'm happy with that. Just take it. Huh? Is that what you do? Is that what you do? No. Now what do you do?
You utilize it.
How do you utilize it? Do you take your shovel from your kid's sandbox and you start digging with that? No. What you need to do is, you need to assemble a team. Because you can't explore oil or gold or whatever fortune you have struck, this opportunity of sharing this greatest gift. You can't accomplish this task alone, single-handedly. Prabhupada saw it took him 8 years to publish 3 volumes of the first canto. Now, how long would 12 cantos take? If one canto took 8 years, how long would 12 cantos take? Huh? 96 years, thank you. But there's a problem. He's already 70 years old. There ain't no any 96 years. He doesn't know if he's got 9 years. There's no guarantee. So what do you do when there is such a big task and so little time? You need to build a team. And that's what Prabhupada did. And that's why he came to the West. Not to go and talk to a few celebrities and presidents and movie stars and to get a little bit of money here or there. No. But to assemble a team who could actually help him in communicating Krishna's message through the Bhagavatam, through the Chaitanya Charitamrita to the world. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. And it's the same thing that we're trying to do here. So, sometimes we confuse efficiency with effectiveness. Sometimes we confuse management with leadership. They're not the same. Efficiency is doing things right, but effectiveness is doing the right things. Did you ever get busy and you just knocked off a lot of things, but you didn't really did the right things? Like the main things that needed doing, you didn't really address them. But you got a whole bunch of other stuff done that kept you busy, that can keep you busy for lifetimes. So why are we here? What's our real purpose? Huh? Those are important questions to ask and to answer on a daily basis. Why? Because the why, the motivation, the purpose, that defines your intention, that defines your goal. So, we have this tremendous opportunity here, and what are we doing about it? This is the Hare Krishna Study Center. How many courses do we teach here? How many students are enlisted in this study center? How many teachers are actively teaching here? We're here because of the blood, sweat, and tears, because of the sacrifices, the prayers, and the tears of our ancestors. That's why we're here. Now, what are we doing as a token of gratitude? Let us accept this gift and let us utilize it to share it with the world. We're only here for a few afternoons. I'm leaving on Tuesday. We don't know how much time we have. But we should think, okay, what is the legacy? What am I leaving behind? How can we share this message? People are suffering. People are doing all kinds of stupid things. There's trouble in paradise. Have you noticed? Huh? Right now, with the economic boom that is taking place, this will accelerate Kali Yuga in a very, very drastic way. And all the vices, all the bad stuff will become super, super magnified because of that. Why? Because wherever there is gold, wherever there is an access of wealth, Kali parties real hard in those places. So, if we want to keep some sanity, if we want to keep some semblance of civility, of civilization, we have to spread this Harinam Sankirtan movement far and wide. Now, in the last couple of days, we went out and we just walked around neighborhoods amongst rice fields and canals and lotus flowers, and we chanted Hare Krishna. And people came out of their houses and they brought fruits and water and donations, and they accepted books and flyers and prasadam. People are super open towards this Hare Krishna movement. So, we need a game plan, how to expand all around the country. And it starts here because this is ground zero. This is the Hare Krishna Study Center. Huh? Because without a head, nothing moves. You lose an arm, you lose a leg, not so great, but you can still carry on. But you lose your head, Houston, we got a problem. Huh? We don't know where we're going. So what is our vision? What are we trying to accomplish? Yes, you can also have a few kids and build a few houses and make a few millions, but that's secondary. That's not the primary. The primary, what people are remembered for, is what is your legacy? Why did Gandhi get his face on every single rupee note? Why?
Non-violence.
Why?
He fought for India independence.
Because he was willing to sacrifice his life for a cause that was honorable, that was just, and that was necessary. That's why. If you have nothing you're willing to die for, you got nothing to live for. Now, we're not asking you to become a martyr. We're not asking you to die before dinner, you know. Don't worry. What we're asking you to do is to think a little bit in the coming days on what is my mission? What is my legacy? What would I like to be remembered for? And that will give you some clue of, okay, maybe I can go a little deeper. Maybe I can invest a little more energy into this. So some people can distribute prasad, some people can do harinam, some people can distribute books, some people can preach and share, other people can teach courses, other people can just raise kids and create a beautiful family environment. We need everybody. We need everybody. Like in Lord Chaitanya's pastime, he had all kinds of devotees. There was Prataparudras, there was kings, there was scholars like Sarvabhauma, there was beggars. We talked this morning. Was it this morning? No, we just got back. A couple of days ago, we talked about Kolavecha Sridhar and Shuklambardas Brahmachari.
Yesterday morning.
Huh?
Yesterday morning.
Yesterday morning. It was just yesterday morning. That's what happens when you go on a day trip, you know, it all gets messed up. So, everybody is needed. We're hiring. Every position, we're hiring. Huh? And what are the benefits? The benefits are out of this world. Huh? And what is the price that you have to pay? Sincerity. No ulterior motive. We have to be clear about our purpose. And don't worry, Krishna knows what we need. Krishna knows what's good for us. He will make the magic happen. He will give you more. He will exceed all your wildest dreams. I was a 15-year-old kid going to a boarding school in the Swiss Alps, and I met the Bhagavad Gita by the help of a friend. And I had 3 ideas. I want a lot of friends. I want to travel the world. I want to be the best at what I do. Because I was a sports guy. I was very ambitious. And Krishna exceeded all my expectations by far. I could not dream. He gave me the world. He took a lot away again, and then he gave me other things. And so, you're never a loser. Huh? Give your life to Krishna, and Krishna will do the magic. How much can we do with our strength? Very little. We have a hard time digesting our meals. Have you noticed? Your prasadam is too rich, it's too good. So, spending a lot of time just processing. Huh? Have you noticed? You have. So my question is, what are we doing with all this space here? By the sacrifice of Prabhupada Dev and his family and so many other devotees, we have such a wonderful opportunity, not just here, but all over Guyana, all over the Caribbean. People are super open. They're super friendly. You can't even imagine what it's like to distribute books in Russia. Have you heard of Siberia? Huh? Minus 35 degrees. Like here it's plus 35, there it's minus 35. You know what that means? If you spit, it turns into ice before it hits the ground. It means your face is paining because it seems like somebody's throwing needles at you. It's so cold. Huh? I was in Novosibirsk, the capital of Siberia, in January of 1996. And yeah, we're driving the Lada with the spikes, you know. They have to have these nails in the tires so they don't slid off the road. And one devotee told me the story how he was distributing books in a town in Siberia. And he met another devotee who was also distributing Bhagavad Gita. So he asked him, Prabhu, from which temple are you? I've never seen you before. And that person said, I don't know any Prabhu and I don't know any temple. What are you talking about? So the devotee asked him, well, what are you doing? If you don't know Prabhu and temple, then who are you? You know, like KGB agent or what? You know, because you don't know our language. So the man said, look, I bought this Bhagavad Gita 2 years ago on the same street and I read it. It's the best book I've ever read in my life. At the end of the book, Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, says, if you give this knowledge to others, you'll become dear to me. What's that verse? What's that shloka?
Yaidam paramam vira.
Madbhakteshu abhidashyati. Huh? Krishna is saying, give this knowledge to others, you'll become dear to me. So he went to the Xerox shop. You know what the Xerox shop is? Where you do Xerox copies, you know, copy shop? And he had 100 copies made from Bhagavad Gita. Gita is a 1,000-page book. It's a lot of work. And he went out on the same street and distributed the books and said, look, this is the best book I've ever read. And it cost me this much to print, so please give a donation. So I have a doubt. Do you know that to doubt is the sign of intelligence? Did you know that? Doubt, to have questions, is the sign of intelligence. So I have a lot of doubts. So that means I must be very intelligent. This is a joke. You're supposed to laugh. But I will share my primary doubt with you. What if all of us become useless? You know, most of the spiritual organization, they started out to be very revolutionary, very austere, very sincere, very dedicated. People risking their lives, ready to die for the mission. And a little later on, things became decadent. They became self-absorbed. People got a little too arrogant. They got a little too fat. they got a little too abusive, and they kind of lost the plot. What if the same thing happens to us? History repeats itself, right? So what if the same thing happens to us? That we become a little too political, a little too self-absorbed, a little too comfortable, and we think, yeah, nice place, let's let the good times roll, and, you know, screw the rest of the world. What if we lose that spirit of compassion, that sense of mission, that sense of purpose that brought us in the first place? But then I hear stories like this story from Siberia, and I'm convinced that somewhere in region 1 or somewhere in, what's the one in the jungle there near the border to Brazil?
Latam.
Huh?
Latam.
Latam. What number is that?
9.
9.
Region 9.
Yeah, somewhere in region 9, somebody in Siberia, in the Sahel, in Patagonia, somewhere, they will find the Bhagavad Gita. And they will read it. And they will say, hey, this is it. I struck gold. This is the topmost knowledge. We have to give this to the world. And they single-handedly will start the Sankirtan movement again. Haribol to that. Yeah, absolutely. Amen. Inshallah. So, I'm convinced that even if all of us fail, and God forbid, but you never know, somebody will actually do it. Why? Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Because Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu already declared that this Sankirtan movement is a success. And the only question is, am I going to be part of that success or not? Well, that depends. That depends. You can only be on the team if you're a team player. What does it mean to be a team player? You have to pass the ball. You understand cricket? You can't just catch the ball and keep it, right? You have to pass it. Otherwise, you're not going to win the game, right? So what does it mean to be a team player? It means I want you to score. I want you to be successful. I rejoice in your achievement. Not I try to keep you down. I keep you out of the way. I try to get rid of you. We're on the same team here. You understand? Are you with me? Yes. It don't matter what your nationality, your job, your education. That's all irrelevant. What matters is your intention, your purpose. We need everybody. If you want to explore gold, yes, you need engineers, but you also need medics. You also need accountants. You also need cooks. You also need infrastructure guys. You also need people who do everything else. It's a big job. Huh? So, we have to expand our vision. Prabhupada has given us the essence. Prabhupada said, I gave you the principles, you fill in the details. Now we have a second part on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit more about the practical aspects, how we're going to do this here in Guyana. And we're going to hear from you. What is it that you would like to do? And how we can actually create these teams and increase the synergy. Because I see that there is tremendous amount of potential. And I would say you have some of the most tenacious, you know what tenacious means? Tenacious are people who are not giving up, who are very determined, who are very, because you guys came here, you know the history, and it was a rough ride all the way through, and it is still rough. So you haven't been spoiled by the indulgences and by the decadence and the degradation which so many other countries in the world are struggling with. You had it hard. And that's why Krishna consciousness can boom here, because people still have an appreciation of that austerity. They may not actively practice it, but there's still an appreciation of that. Huh? Right now, Krishna consciousness is booming in India, it's booming in Russia, because the Russians are very austere. It's rough there. Huh? And in India, it's the land of Dharma. So here, we have a very good stock. People they have the potential. But we have to empower people. We have to communicate the vision to them. And people have to be able to find their place in the mission. And we can't just hammer round pegs into square holes. We have to be a little considerate. What are people's interests? What are people's capacities? What are people's inclinations? Huh? Be nice. What does it mean? Nice. Needs, interests, concerns, and expectations. That's what we have to address. So, we're going to talk more about that on Friday. I'd like to open up for questions and reflections because I believe I said enough for getting the conversation rolling. Yes, Prabhupada Dev, Prabhu.
You were saying that as a young man, you wanted to explore, you wanted to travel and see places and all that. I was thinking,
and be popular, like any other young kid.
It just crossed my mind, just like that when I heard that. I don't know how much of us it will be interesting for all of us, but at least for myself, how much Krishna would have fulfilled that? How many countries you visit for over all these years?
You stop counting. After a while, you have done something more than a dozen, 2 dozen times. You stop counting because it just doesn't matter anymore. You see, some people count the books that they sell. I count the people who don't take. I want to give something to everybody. Either a smile or a Haribol, a Hare Krishna, Sitaram, fist bump, little prasadam, a flyer. I want to give something to everybody. So I count the people who ignore me or refuse me. I don't count the books. I've stopped counting a long time ago. Because it's just not relevant. Now, Krishna has a plan, and to cooperate with his plan is really exciting. Because as long as I'm going according to my plan, quite a few number of things have gone wrong with that strategy. I am a graduate from the School of Hard Knocks, you know? And so, but then again, that's not a school that I would promote, because you don't live long enough to make all the stupid mistakes that you can make. We're only here for a very short time. So the sooner we can actually open up to guidance, to more wisdom from persons who have realization, the easier, the better it goes. But right now, and thank you for bringing me to this point back, that even though people are so resilient, they're so tenacious, they're so expert here in Guyana, the individualism, the distrust against authority, against structure is so high that it's very hard to get people to work together. I start seeing in small villages like church, Hindu temple, mosque, church. And I'm like, this village has a couple of hundred people, you know? And there is like 15, 20 different religious buildings and probably 100 organizations. Because everyone wants to make his own thing. That's the new thing, right? Do your own thing. Don't trust anybody. But in this way, we can't really do something of magnitude. We can't really have impact. We need tradition, and we have to collaborate. Prabhupada said, your love to me will be shown in as much as you cooperate after I'm gone. Now, most of our gurus are still here, and already the fighting is going on. I was in my tours in temples or in countries where there is mostly disciples of the same guru, but the majority doesn't get along. Sometimes there's 3 temples in a city, and they're all claiming to be the bona fide, the authorized, the only real Iskcon, and the others are bogus. So we're not exempt from all these scenarios. So we have to think a little deeper. I don't want to get too autobiographical because I don't think it's required or very interesting for you. But I am excited to see the potential and to try to assist in that process. Because after a while, when Krishna has allowed us to tick off our boxes, then the question comes more, okay, what's my mission? What am I here for? What does Krishna want me to do? And I truly believe that if we invest a little more thought and energy into the next generations of leaders, then things can actually grow in a massive way. So I was very happy in Essequibo to see that there was a lot of families last night who participated. There was babies and youth and teenagers and adults and grandparents and like the whole community was there. And it was very, very endearing to see. Very endearing to see. So I believe that we got some homework to do to attract different demographics, to become relevant to them, to have something for the kids, to have something for the youth, to have something for the business and working people, and to have something for the retired people. There might be slightly different offerings and presentations, but it's possible. It's possible. I don't know if that answers your question. I can tell you stories till the cows come home, but it's a working day and people have been in traffic. It's been a lot. We took two boats and it was exciting. It was exciting. But people are happy to see the Hare Bowls and they're happy to get books. That's not the issue. The issue is what comes next. What's the follow-up? How do we go from there? With all the goodwill that you have created over the last 5 decades in this country, how are you going to translate this into action? Yeah, you can go around every day of the year and just sing in the streets and people will give you money and food and water and there's no problem with that. And you can have a few festivals. But what's our game plan? I would like to see this place here as the training center for the future leaders of the Hare Krishna movement. Not just in Guyana, but in the whole Caribbean and possibly further. It's possible to do that if we get our game plan together, if we work on the vision. And that's the purpose of my visit here, to talk to the leaders and to the potential candidates to establish this. And then we'll see. Krishna will do the magic. That's his prerogative. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Danudara, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhutir Druvanitir Matir Mama. Krishna always makes it happen. How? When? Through whom? Gotta ask him. Yeah, that's his business. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for tolerating me. I've been... We were together on a little outing.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Yes.
And I want to speak something about that. You seem to be, maybe you could say something about doing seva or service according to your nature. Because I was watching you and you were like in your element, okay? And I'm thinking this man he hit something there. This must be your purpose, your purpose of doing your seva for Krishna. And the reason I said this because you were like not only enthusiastic, but you were like glowing, Prabhu. You were so happy doing what you're doing. Would you say this is like your seva? This is what you're meant to do? I mean, it's kind of maybe too direct, but...
No, you see, there is many things that we can do. There's some things that need doing. There's other things that Krishna will reveal to you according to the degree of your surrender. Sometimes we think of ourselves, oh, I'm like this, oh, I'm an introvert, oh, I'm an extrovert, or this guy's smart, this guy's not so smart. But that's not really what we're talking about here. Krishna Shakti Vinanahe Tarapravartan. Krishna is the potency that makes the magic happen. We don't know who we are. We have a certain sense of our capacity, but Krishna can prove you completely wrong. Have you noticed? Because we don't really know who we really are. But to the degree of our surrender, Krishna will empower us. So, whatever needs doing, the devotee is raising to the occasion, is raising to the task to do that. Prabhupada could have said, I stay in Vrindavan. Jai Sri Radhe, Hare Krishna. And he could have a very peaceful and nice life there. But Prabhupada chose to go to New York. He chose to go to the Bowery, to the Lower East Side, to preach Krishna consciousness. So he wasn't looking for what is my nature, what is comfortable, what is agreeable to me. Prabhupada was writing, publishing, he was cooking, cleaning, serving, he was doing everything. And after many, many, many months, one young boy asked, Swamiji, can I help you? And Prabhupada said, yes. I thought nobody would ever ask. He thought maybe they're rich kids, maybe their mom spoiled them and they didn't learn, they didn't have chores. So Prabhupada was willing to do everything, even if it wasn't comfortable. Waiting in line for the bathroom, dealing with these youngsters who were the age of his grandchildren. But Prabhupada happily, willingly did it because he knew that Krishna has a plan. He has a purpose. And I'm willing to play my part. And if that is to be the cook, the server, and the cleaner, I'm happy to do that. He wasn't saying, I'm the Acharya. You do this, you do that. No. And everybody who remembered Prabhupada, how did they remember him? He was my friend. He was my well-wisher. The scholars, the Hells Angels, John Lennon's gardener, the housewives, the common people, they all felt this person is my friend. Why? Because Prabhupada did not have a superiority or an inferiority complex. Prabhupada was willing to deal with people eye to eye and just be there for them. Every day, for 2 hours, his door was open. People could walk into his room and ask him any questions. He had darshan. He wrote thousands of letters. He gave thousands of lectures. He was very accessible. He was available. So that is Acharya. That is our guiding light. We're trying to emulate and follow in Srila Prabhupada's footsteps in our own small, humble way. So yes, to an answer to your question, we all find our purpose, we all find our place, so to speak. But then we also have to do the needful. If they're asking you, can you clean this? You can't say, oh no, I'm a cook or I'm a book distributor, I don't clean, or I don't do this. Prabhupada did it. Lord Chaitanya cleaned the Gundicha temple, God himself. Jesus was washing the feet of his disciples and drying them with his hair. So we can't be a one-trick pony and say, I only do this, I don't do other things. Whatever Krishna wants us to do, we're happy to do it. Ashli Shiva Padaratam Pinashtumam Adarshanam Marmahatam Karotuva Yata Tatava Vidata Lampato Matprananata Susevana Para. And whether you embrace me or you make me brokenhearted or you exalt me or you push me away, you're my worshipful Lord. That's what we signed up for, right? I mean, we chant this every day, but do we live it? Do we put it in practice? The next time somebody comes and says, Prabhu, can you take out the trash? Oh, me? No, I don't do that. No, I'm busy. We're chanting, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. What does it mean? Please engage me in your service. Then somebody comes and gives us service and we say, no, I don't want it. Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. No, I don't want it. Huh? It's kind of illogical, right? We're asking for guidance, we're asking for empowerment. But then we don't like it the way it comes. Oh, if you would have asked nicely, I would have done it. But not in this way. Huh? So, it's a refinement process. Yes, last question, and then we close.
Prabhu,
today.
I was just thinking while you were speaking about being a team player, cooperating, and all this. My personal experience, sometimes we want to do it. Theoretically, we know that we should. But sometimes you see, like, for instance, for me, I might say, oh man, this devotee is behaving like this. I don't know why he's behaving like this. I'm not going to call him to come and do anything. That's his story. Why doesn't he come and do it himself? It's for his benefit. So why do I have to run behind him to do his service? So like this mindset comes, and then you kind of get worked up thinking that, oh, I'm not doing enough, like this and all these things. How do we get rid of this feeling, and why does it keep coming up?
It's human conditioning. False ego gets in the way. We have a certain sense of ourselves, a certain sense of others, and that just makes things exceedingly difficult. That's why we need to engage in Harinam Sankirtan. We need to go out together and chant Hare Krishna and dance and distribute books and prasadam. And then we realize, hey, they're nice people, these devotees. They're wonderful. They're better than kings. And all those little details, those little incongruities that don't add up, don't worry about it. It's just a detail. But otherwise it's like, oh no, this one, that one, the other one, oh no. At the end we like no one. We don't even like ourselves. But guess what? We have to live with ourselves for the rest of eternity. That's a long time, right? So we better get used to the idea and get off of our high horse and do the needful. So that's why this Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it allows us to taste that nectar that we have been always hankering for. What is that? That we can overcome all these designations, all these upadhis, all these misidentifications, of these labels and boxes, and he said, she said, they said, and he didn't do, and why didn't he do, and this and that. It's all just noise. If you just get on with it, then all these things, they will just become negligible. So, what are we going to do? That's what we're going to discuss on Friday. The game plan. How do we go about it? I can tell you a lot of stories, but I'm sure you have your own stories, your own experiences, your own moments of intense connection and empowerment and ecstasy. And that's what keeps us going in Krishna consciousness. That's why we need to experience this intensity of facing ourselves in the face of adversity. Because that is truly purifying. You might say, why so much drama? Why so much tragedy in the Bhagavatam? Have you noticed how much tragedy is there in the Ramayana? A lot of drama, a lot of tragedy. Why all this? Why does Krishna do this to his devotees? Well, first of all, he wants to show to the world how humble and how tolerant his devotees are. Second of all, if there is no dangerous situation, then what is the meaning for the all-merciful Lord who will save his devotee? And third of all, Krishna wants to discourage persons who are not really sincere, and they will think, this bhakti thing? Nah, keep driving. I'm not going to do that thing, you know. Look at what Krishna did. Look at what Ram did. No, I'm not going to get involved with that. So he's doing it to just discourage people like that. So Krishna has his reasons. But the first and foremost reason is Krishna wants to draw out more love. He wants to draw out the intensity of the love of his devotees. That's why sometimes it seems like he's pushing us over the edge. Have you noticed? Huh? We have done a little bit of that in the last couple of days, you know. I was out with 2 friends on a little trip. And, you know, when you're out there, then, you know, it gets a little rough sometimes. So you start telling people in plain German, get in the car. Get on with it. We need to go now. And then you can hear the mind, you know, processing, rendering, you know. But we know it's good for me. It's good for me. I need to get over myself. Otherwise, if we're just stuck, there ain't no advancement in comfort zone. You're not going anywhere. It's just you plateau. Yeah, you can veg away and you just lime your whole life away, but that doesn't really make you spiritually advanced. If we want to get some traction, we need to engage in Harinam Sankirtan. We need to get together and actually endeavor as a team to share Krishna's message with the world. And that will help us, not just to attain purity and sincerity and all these other good qualities, but mostly to attract Krishna's divine blessings, His mercy, His intervention. That's what we need. That's what we're striving for. That should be our goal. So thank you for being part of the team. Thank you for dedicating your life to this mission. And we'll have more time to explore some of these concepts and how to make a game plan. Because we need a team. There's a lot of work to be done. How many regions do we have?
Only 10.
10. 10 regions. Okay.
Which is the biggest?
9.
Number 9. Biggest in terms of size. Or he meant biggest in terms of population?
Population region 4.
This region.
4.
This
Right here. Yep, you're in the right place. You are in the right place. So thank you all for showing up. I see some old friends and some new faces. It's exciting to be here. And let us meditate along these lines. How can we be part of recruiting, training, and empowering spiritual revolutionaries? But that means I have to become a spiritual revolutionary in the first place. Are you willing to re-evolve, to step beyond your own conditioning, your own fears and aspirations? Are you willing to have Krishna challenge your ideas, your plans, and your sense of rationality? I think so. I think so. I think we've all proven that that's why we're here for. This is not just, you know, occupational therapy. We're not just here to feel a little less bad or rotten about ourselves. We're here because we want to take this thing to the ultimate. We want to give it our level best. And don't worry, Krishna's got you covered. Whatever it is that you need, Krishna says, Kyanteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Don't worry. You're good. Everything will be fine. Krishna knows what you need. And he will make sure that you get what you need. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Harinam Sankirtan
Kirtan ki jai.
Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna. So we'd just like to thank Prabhuji very much for this little talk this evening. I'm sure for many of us, we probably may not have expect, some of the things that we have heard. But nevertheless, I'm sure that there are a lot of thoughts jumping around in our minds. We are trying to put the pieces together. But as Prabhu mentioned, a lot of food for thought he has provided, and the session will continue on Friday afternoon, Friday evening. And he spoke about Navina Nirada. Prabhu spoke about the team spirit. So I'm sure we all know many people. We are all individual. We are connected to, and through the temple, through the yatra here, we can try to have to add more. Call out a few friends, a few more devotees to come and be part of the team, because as you can see, and as we all understand, it takes a team to achieve the ultimate that Prabhu has mentioned about. So we're very, very grateful to His Grace Navina Nirada Prabhu for being here in Guyana, in the Caribbean, in Guyana for the second time. And I can, based on hearing Prabhu's mood and his enthusiasm, his mission, his missionary spirit, from last year to now, the momentum has only increased. It has not, his momentum, his drive, to inspire, to empower, it has only increased so much. Now it's a lot on us and how sincere we are and how much we can imbibe that mood and how much we can actually be a team player. Thank you very much, Prabhu. There's dinner prasad for everyone before you leave. Hare Krishna. So see you everyone on Friday evening. 6:30 p.m. for Artik, and after Artik we'll have the session.